2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 1. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is your brother Hawaii. First of all, I want to give all praises and glory to our Heavenly Father Yahweh, in the name of our Lord and Savior Yahawashi, and also peace, mercy, and blessings to the scattered elect throughout the four corners of the earth that are hearing the words of this prophecy, as we know that we are even at the end of the age and the kingdom of heaven is surely upon us. I wanted to go into a video that I saw earlier today concerning, a compilation that Vocab alone put together. As we know, and as we said, even in our camp, that we've advised brothers not to have any dealings with him. Over the years, guys have, either been involved in conversations with him and, basically have led to, different back and forth with him, and which is what he was trying to look for. And one of the things that we always said is that the reason why this is happening, one, we know that there's a frustration of people that don't want to necessarily see the rise, all right, of the elect of Israel, okay, and they pay guys like him, right, to do their bidding, all right, and for that cause and that reason, brothers must be a lot wiser. But it seems that over the last few years, as this was happening, when it even happened early on, this should have never had continued to transpire to this direction, where now you have this type of issue where a compilation is being made, the word is being talked down on because of the behavior of different men. And those things have to be blamed on the leadership of those men, okay, on how to handle yourself. Because let me tell you, there's camps or there's groups that he wouldn't go to because of the fact that he cannot get the type of sound bites that he's getting out of y'all, okay, getting out of your camps. And then you guys complain about the fact that this is happening. We are in the land of our captivity. Okay, so you're in, pretty much we're in a dangerous land, a dangerous time. Okay, and this is a time to, as far as being circumspect, knowing that there's people like this that exist, but a lot of what plays into the hand of people's ego is they want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to go about and go back and forth with somebody that doesn't believe, especially someone that is clearly an agent, provocateur, okay, and someone who's trying to get a rise out of you for sound bites and clicks. And ultimately, this information here and other sound bites, okay, from the behaviors and the things that were said. And this is I'm not just singling out one group. There was multiple groups in here, and these guys know who they are, okay? Because we've already had our own counsel about how we would handle a situation if someone like this were to come up to our camp. And we have been talking about the proper behavior in this walk, because we have to understand that we are ambassadors of Yahawashi, okay? And this is not about you fulfilling your own ego to get back and forth with somebody that it doesn't believe. So I'm not going to play the video, but some of y'all brothers and sisters have already seen it. And as you know, in here, there's various sound bites in here with guys making, veiled threats, people that have basically made threats at somebody who is actually trying to get this type of response, okay? And even the going back and forth debates, the reason why he knows he can do that is because of the fact that he knows, and even people like him that they know who to go to get this type of behavior, okay, and to try and sully and try and dirty up what the brothers that are sincere and that have wise and understanding are doing, which is trying to basically seal the elect, and also at the same time be at peace with all men, if at all possible. Okay, and someone like this, for him to get y'all caught up to where y'all are being consistently put on Front Street. He's consistently showing you in a negative light. And the reason why he's able to do that is because of your speech and your conduct. Okay? And that's what brothers and sisters have to understand. So I'm going to go into a couple of more scriptures. I don't want to make this long, but I want to make sure that brothers that are sincere understand how to react when you run into people like this, okay? And understand that this behavior that is seen in this video, much of the behavior that's seen in this video is very carnal, and it's a very low level, and it's not becoming of how we're supposed to conduct ourselves as believers in the gospel of Yahawashi. So this is Acts 17 and verse 1. Now when they had passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where was a synagogue of the Jews. Okay, so a synagogue means a place of an area where people will fellowship in that city that are Jews. Okay, this is in Thessalonica. Okay, so in the same vein of this would really be like having like an Israelite camp. Okay, or a group of Israelites that are learning, okay, together, on a particular day. All right, so you would have congregations of people that would get together, that would be trying to learn and teach one another, and they're keeping the Sabbath and they're going through scriptures. Okay, and so we're going to go down and we're going to see what kind of things transpire, all right, with certain types of men that basically do not know how to handle them and conduct themselves. Now, as you go down to verse 2, it says, "And Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the scriptures, opening and alleging that Mashiach must needs have suffered and risen from the dead, and that this Yahawashi whom I preach unto you is Mashiach. And some of them believe, and sorted with Paul and Silas, and of the devout Greeks a great multitude, and of the chief women not a few. But the Jews which believe not," okay, so you had those of our people that believe not, and even in this time, as we are consistently ridiculed for pushing the gospel of Yahawashi and pushing the water baptism in the name of Yahawashi for the remission of sins, we are consistently under attack, which we so gladly and joyfully bear. Those pretty much remarks and the chastisement that brothers have to go through for this. But what we do know is that there's men that arise up, okay, and they show their true character whenever the truth really comes out, and their behavior is unbecoming of what a saint would be. So as we go down, again, verse 5, "But the Jews which believed not, moved with envy," okay, so moved with envy, "took unto them certain lewd fellows of a baser sort, and a gathered of company, and set all the city on an uproar, and assaulted the house of Jason, and sought to bring them out to the people." And one thing that we know and understand is that there's been, men from various camps, not just one, that would make actual physical threats against other men that didn't believe like they did. And these type of groups, the reason why they do that is because they have lewd fellows of the baser sort. And this is the thing that Vocab understands when he goes to a lot of y'all's groups. He knows that your behavior is very easy to get a rise of, because he knows that there's a certain character. Even a Christian, okay, an Edomite Christian has an idea of what type of behavior a Christian would have in communication with another person, okay? Now, we know that there's disagreements that happen, but when you understand the motives behind the person that you're dealing with, and you decide to still act as a person of a baser sort that has no understanding, has no real self-control about yourself, and they know that every time that they go to you, they can get a rise out of you, and you got your leaders, your elders that are acting the same way, okay? Because as a judge of the people, and so are the people that are under them, okay? You are falling into that exact same trap, and they bring out men among you that are like this, that will fall into these type of, traps, okay, to basically muddy up, all right, the word and the activity. And this is one of the reasons why when you go and you try and talk to brothers about the gospel, you try and tell them that, about this. One of the things that a lot of people have done because of this type of activity is that a lot of people have began to push themselves away from being in a group, in a fellowship body group of other believers, because they've seen this type of activity and they've basically have looked at various groups sideways. Okay, this type of behavior is something that we as a brotherhood, as a group, basically teach against, and try and make sure that brothers understand that you are an ambassador of Yahawashi. You are one who is a representative, all right, of a coming kingdom. Okay, you are a diplomat. You are literally become like a foreign diplomat. And when you're a foreign diplomat in another person's land, there's certain behaviors that you have to have and represent on behalf of the kingdom, all right, that you're coming from. All right. So we see here that this is the type of stuff that happens. Now, when you go even into the word for lewd fellows, so let's go into that. So Poneros, Strong's G 41 and 90, it says pretty much bad or bad nature or condition. Okay, in an ethical sense, evil, wicked, bad. Okay, and the thing about it is, we're not condemning all brothers that are part of these different groups that are doing this behavior, but what we are doing is trying to point out and say to you guys that you guys were the ones that your leadership of those different cities where these events occurred, and also your higher ups, they're the reason why y'all are exhibiting this behavior, and it did not get it under enough control to not make this a problem. And this is one of the reasons why your complaints, really, to be honest, what are you complaining about here? This stuff right here is recorded. This is actual recorded behavior and conversations and threats and things like that were done, okay, by the people in your organization. I mean, you got a guy over here making threats. Let me play this real quick. This is something you don't do if you're wise, okay?
Let me tell y'all like I told Instagram. Paul Campbell, LeBron Campbell, K-Dub, Shield Squad, and if you want to be down with the you too. Die slow, my phone, make sure all your kids don't grow.
So it's crazy to me.
Yeah. So when you're talking like that, that's very easy. Sometimes you got to hold your tongue. You got to hold your tongue rather than going that route, because this is some part of the compilation of stuff that they will put out there. Okay. And then people get upset because, they're trying to make us look bad. No. Again, going back to 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2, and many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. Okay. Who is that? This particular set of people have to exist in Israel that are making the way of truth being evil spoken of. Because if you know that this guy's been around the different cities, we're only a couple of blocks away from some of the camps and groups that he visited. So why didn't he come here? Because this guy studied and knows that we are not going to react a certain way. And he's not going to be able to get no soundbite out of us, because we're carrying ourselves wisely and we deal with people accordingly. Every people that come across and want to have a conversation with us, we basically try and be very cordial with them. We disagree with them, but we don't go about basically berating them. And certainly enough, if you know a guy's coming with a camera, he's clearly trying to get a soundbite out of you. He's clearly not rolling up with no camera. So a lot of you guys are just falling right into this, and this is part of the reason why, guys is upset about this, and they saying, he's doing this. Look, man, listen, dude, some of you guys in your organization, some of you guys that were involved in these type of conversations, you have not decided to clean it up, and therefore he's using these type of things against you. All right. So when you go into Sirach chapter 23 and verse 15, the man that is accustomed to opprobrious words will never be reformed all the days of his life. And this is one of the reasons why we tell brothers that come in, don't emulate some of these other guys. We basically understand that when it comes to speaking in language, that you have the ability to clean up the way you speak. There's no reason why you have to, that guys should have been using foul language. Okay, and we're going to get into this word opprobrious, foul language, all these years. If you're just now trying to clean it up, and some of you guys have been allegedly saying you've been teaching for 10 years, 13 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, and you're just now trying to clean it up, you are literally kind of almost too little too late in terms of what reputation you've already put out there. Because the fact is that some of these groups which have been around for over 10 years, some of them 5 years, they have had language and sound bites that have gone back that this guy and other men that are against this, against the word, that they use against you. And it shows you that you lacked wisdom to do that. And this is the reason why we tell brothers, a lot of you guys that are in these groups and that y'all are sincere, a lot of you guys are going to have to get away from them in order to basically, see the light. Because you're not going to see it being in this type of situation. And like we've said before, and we've told brothers again, that from the beginning of the time that we have been preaching the baptism in the name of Yahawashi for the remission of sins, which is water baptism, we have seen different groups, different people continue to wax worse and worse. And we know that some of you guys have a zeal that is very high. And that zeal, without understanding, it has these type of situations occur. Okay? And so this is all we're saying. We're not sitting here to try to be combative, because we could go out and really try and call names and stuff like that, but we're really talking directly to those that will hear, those that are sincere, and for those brothers that learn from us or other brothers that push the same doctrine that we do, the same gospel of Yahawashi, that this is not behavior that you want to emulate when you're dealing with people, okay? When you're dealing with people out there, and when you're also if you become a teacher, you also want to check that type of behavior and not emulate the things that were in that video, okay? So we're going to go into this word opprobrious. The etymology, this is the etym online for opprobrious. It says, full of reproach, intended to bring disgrace. So there's actually language and words that one can use that is full of reproach and intended to bring disgrace. Okay, now some of these guys will say, well, listen, though I be rude in speech, not in knowledge, these people will use that to justify the use of their foul language. Okay, and guess what? When you go into different countries and places, you know that there's a certain level of decorum that you're supposed to have if you're somebody that carries yourself in a dignified manner. And if you're one that doesn't do that, you're going to be talking like that. There's no reason for you to justify the type of language that's being used, and then at the same time, you will condemn the wordplay or somebody of like a Cardi B and how they talk. If you have a daughter, you don't want them talking and sounding like Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion. In the same form of fashion, if you have a son, you want your son to be carried themselves as a royal regal man, okay, young man. You want him to speak in a dignified manner as somebody who is a great representation and a monument of Yahweh. So this is the reason why a lot of things that the moral decay of our people has been very high. And the thing about it, that a lot of the behaviors that were more acceptable among our people 60 years ago, meaning speaking in a dignified manner. Back in the day, your grandparents, if you use certain language and certain words around them, they'd whoop you. They'd correct you. Now you got guys running amok and saying and speaking however they want. And this is something that needs to be cleaned up. And among those brothers that will hear, they'll hear. But for all you guys that are complaining about the fact that these sound bites are out here, it's you that did that. It's no camera trick, it's no audio trick that vocab is doing that's making you look bad. You made yourself look bad. You made yourself a misrepresentation of the word. So it's on you to correct it. This is going over to the freedictionary.com. Opprobrious, expressing contemptuous, reproach, scornful, or abusive. add language to that, because opprobrious words or abusive words, scornful words, language, this is what it's talking about. If you do not change that, you will never be reformed. There is nothing out there that shows that you are actually reformed more than both your speech and conduct. Those are the things that are actually going to show that you are reformed, that you are a new creature, that you are someone who has actually made a change. And anybody amongst your elders, your so-called leadership, that's telling you that it's okay for you to act like that and to speak like that, they do not understand the scriptures, and they don't understand the vibration of words. Okay? The second one, bringing disgrace, shameful and infamous. And that's what that does. When you speak opprobrious words, you bring a disgrace, shamefulness, and you become infamous. And that's what that is. You become infamous. You've not become infamous because you're pushing Yahawashi. You become infamous because of your behavior. You become infamous because of your words. If you were simply just pushing the gospel, and they wanted to go back and forth over doctrine, that's one thing. They can say you're crazy, you're nuts, but they can say the same thing about the people that's in our land that call the other people goyim. Tell them to go and tell them that they're nuts, right? But what they're getting you on is not necessarily fully on doctrine. They're getting you on opprobrious words that they can replay to make you look bad. That's making you infamous. So I'm gonna go into another one, all right? Because when you go into this opprobrious in the Webster's dictionary, there's actually another expressiveness of opprobrium. When I looked up that word opprobrium, all right, it says here something that brings disgrace, public disgrace, which is what this video is. This video right here, okay, and some of it is doctrine that some of these other guys that left the scriptures, they don't believe in. And I'm not saying I agree with some of the stuff that guys like this said, or other guys that started pushing, Babylonian Christianity. But the other sound bites and things and behavior that it's basically said in this video and in other videos that he's been able to compile against y'all, this is bringing forth what's called a public disgrace or ill fame that follows from conduct considered grossly wrong or vicious. That's plain and simple. Okay? And that's what you're getting with this, because you did not become reformed. Okay? And like we said before, if you want to be fully reformed, okay, according to the scriptures, you need to receive baptism in the name of Yahawashi in water for the remission of sins, and you shall then at that point begin the process of truly becoming a new creation, one that is acceptable, blameless, and holy unto Yahweh. So hopefully this is edifying. And again, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahawashi. Peace, mercy, and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom.